What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Mental Step Up. In today's episode, I want to talk about why does love hurt? Now, love is probably the most important thing in the world. I believe it's more important than money. Or let's not say important, let's say the most powerfulest thing in the world. More powerful than money. And we all know money is super powerful. But why is it so powerful? Because it's something that we all want. There are people in this world that are okay without money. They live a simple life. They are cool with everything, but everybody wants to be loved. That's either by a significant other, by friends, by family. We all want a certain type of love in our lives. And it's like a drug. It's addictive. Once you get a taste of that love, you want more. And you'll do anything in the world to get more of that love. Wars have started for love. Wars have ended because of love. Fights have started because of love. Things are things are done out of love. If it's addictive, that means you want more of it because why? It makes you feel good. Anytime you take some type of drug, you get that euphoric feeling. You want more of it, and because it makes you feel good and warm inside. But like any other drug, it also causes pain. For love, more on the emotional pain, but also on the physical type of pain. When I say physical, it's that heart aching pain. We all have been there. If you've been heartbroken, if you've been doing so much in a relationship, but you're not technically receiving the type of love that you want, you feel this pressure in your heart, and you don't know how. It feels like someone's stepping on you and stepping on your chest, and you just want them to get off, but it can't. We've all been there, but it's caused that kind of emotional pain. I mean, the physical pain. When it comes to emotional pain, we all have definitely been there. It causes us a psychological warfare in our head. And I'll go more into detail in a second, but it does mess us emotionally. And love is a good thing, but it can just cause so much pain. So I feel those fairy tale movies that you see, those rom coms, the books that you read that are about love, it gives us a perception of love that isn't real. You see those fairy tale movies where love is super perfect, or maybe they have a few hiccups here and there. The same thing with the rom coms. Like it's all fun and games, maybe a little bit of drama, but at the end, it's going to be all perfect. And we all know love is just not like that. We know that love is hard work. It takes it takes effort for that love. If you ask anybody who's been in a long-term relationship, marriage, or who has been in many relationships, they'll tell you that at the beginning it seems to be perfect. But if you want something to be long term and you want that love, it takes it takes work and it's not perfect. And everybody will agree that it's not like the movies. We all want it to be like the movies, but it's just not like that. When we watch these types of movies or we read these books and we have that perception, we take that perception and we put it in the real world and we put that to a high standard to the love that we're going to receive in the real world. So we take what we think from the movies and put it into application in the real world, we put it as a standard, and we're all heartbroken or we're all miserable because we're asking ourselves, why isn't it like that movie I saw? Why isn't it like the Disney movies that we see? Because we have to understand it's not like that. It takes work. So let's talk about some emotional pain that is caused by love. The first thing being, sometimes you're giving love and it isn't given back. Now, if you're someone who puts so much effort in a relationship, that could be a friendship relationship, a significant other relationship, a anything kind of any relationship. You're putting so much into it, but you're not receiving it back. That can really mess with you. And that gives you that emotional pain. You ask yourself, why isn't this person doing what I'm doing? I'm giving this person gifts every day. I'm taking them out all the time. I'm telling them they're beautiful all the time. How come I don't get that? And then that messes with your mind. You wonder if that person really loves you. And then you go into question about stuff like that. I believe here, communication is super important. I believe in any relationship, communication is super important. But when we talk about this, when we talk about not receiving love the way we're giving it, I feel like communication is key. See, the thing is, when you're giving so much love and you're just giving it, and not receiving it, sometimes you're quiet. Sometimes you're like, oh, I'm not gonna say nothing. Hopefully they'll give me the love that I'm looking for and things like that, and they never do. But that's kind of on you too. You need to express how you feel at that moment. Hey, I do my best in this relationship. I'm giving you love, but it seems like you're not giving it back to me. Because then you open the door to that person to maybe realize that, hey, you're right. I'm sorry. I can do better. Or it opens the door to, hey, I'm just not that into you, which hurts, which I'll go into the next part. But that communication is key. You also learn about your love language. I think learning your love language for you and your partner is super important. I feel to know your love languages and to know what their love language is, you can communicate and figure out how they love to be loved and how you love to be loved. And that helps out a lot. See, the thing is, some people love to be giving gifts. Other people like to spend quality time. If you're a person that likes to give gifts, but your significant other is giving you all the time they have, but not really giving gifts, you're not receiving the love that you feel the most loved at, if that makes sense. But if you communicate with that to your partner, to your friend, to anybody that you're trying to receive loved, they can be like, oh, so you like it more when I give you something, and they'll be like, and they'll do that for you. Maybe they have a hard time doing that because that's not how they receive love. But the point is, they know what you're looking for. So communication in this aspect is super important. I believe it's super important, but like in this aspect of not receiving the same love, I believe being open and honest with that other person can help out with this. So when I said it opens the door for maybe that person is not that into you, that can hurt our ego, which goes into the second part that I want to talk about. Our ego gets hurt. That rejection hurts us. Nobody wants to feel rejected. Nobody wants to feel like this person doesn't want me because you're a great person. You know you are a great person. You know you deserve love. But when we get rejected, our ego hurts and we feel a certain type of way about that. And I hope nobody denies that because it's only true. You ever talk to somebody and you know you're the shit and they are just not interested in you and you wonder why and you're like, "Oh, that person probably has problems and things like that." That's your ego hurt. That rejection that just happened to you hurts. Or if you're in a long-term relationship and they're just falling out of love with you, that rejection can hurt you even more. And that is that emotional pain that you feel. Rejection hurts like a knife, and nobody wants to get cut by that knife. When you learn to love yourself, your ego becomes more strong. We'll say will become stronger. When you learn to love yourself, your ego becomes stronger. You're not worried about what the other person wants, or you know what you want. And if they don't want you, then you next move on. You're strong. But when you don't love yourself, you're just accepting whatever they're giving you. And then you have this hurt ego. You have this rejection. You're afraid of it, or you don't want to be cut by it. That's because you're not in love with yourself first. So when it comes to that second part, when I say your ego gets hurt, I feel like it's important to love yourself first. You don't go into any relationship, any type of relationship, and not love yourself first, because that person is going to love themselves first before you, because you have only you for the rest of your life. That's plain and simple. People come and go, but the only person that stays in your life forever is you. So if you don't learn to love yourself first before getting into a relationship, you're gonna get hurt by that knife. The knife called ego. Rejection. That will hurt your ego when you get rejected, if you get rejected. The last thing is self-doubt and confusion. See, the thing is, when you're putting so much into any type of relationship and you're doing your best, but it's just the love that you're receiving is not being reciprocated, you have self-doubt. And you start to think to yourself, man, I feel like maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm the toxic person. Maybe I have issues that I need to resolve. And maybe we all have issues. Let's not get that twisted. We all have our issues. But the thing is, you create this self doubt and you put your self esteem super low. Maybe I'm just not good enough. And that's not where you want to be. And that hurts you in your head mentally. And that can hurt you emotionally. Then it starts to build confusion. You don't know what is what. You don't know what the right way to love someone is. You don't know how to be loved. And that builds up so much confusion inside of you that it's just hard to fix when you're not addressing that problem. I believe this part can be fixed with also loving yourself. And I feel like this goes into work. This is something you have to work on outside the relationship and also in. I feel like this needs to be built up in a way where you know that you are the ship. There's no self doubt in you. You know that, hey, like this might not be working, but I know I'm doing my best. And there's no confusion inside. What I want everyone to take away from this episode of the podcast: love is going to hurt no matter what. It's not like the movies, it's not like the book you're reading, it's not like a rom com. Those are things that make you. Those are perceptions of love that we all want. That's why they make it in movies, because we all want to watch that, because we all want to see that. I love my reality television that's about love, because that's what I want. I want love, and I don't care if it's in a weird way, in a perfect way. I just want love, and I know we all want that. But it's super important to check our egos at the door, because not everything is personal. That rejection is just not personal. To communicate with your significant other or with that person you're trying to love and receive love, communicate your love language, and loving yourself first. Those those things will help the pain of love decrease and also help you be successful in giving love and receiving it as well. And overall, loving yourself is the most important thing you have to do. And it's the most important relationship that you have to be a part of. Because again, the only person that's going to stay with you for the rest of your life is you. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode. I'll see you guys on the next one.